So last year I made a video where I drew a character that was completely randomised by the Monster Girl Maker app. That video was really fun, so when Monster Girl Maker 2 came out, I attempted to make a similar video where I was going to attempt to draw another randomised character, but that video had some technical difficulties with my mic not working properly and with some abrupt lighting changes, so that video never ended up getting finished. So today I'm attempting it again. Hopefully we don't have any technical difficulties this time around. So here is the app, and all of the artwork in this app is by Ghoulkiss. Their art is amazing, it's really distinct and really unique. I've been following their Instagram for a really long time, as I'm sure a lot of you have as well. So let's just get to randomising to see what I have to draw today. I am nervous actually, but very excited. I'm nervous because I know that this is probably going to be very busy. There's going to be a lot going on, so here's to hoping it's not too difficult to draw, I suppose. Here's the randomise option. Randomise, yes please. I am incredibly nervous actually. Let's go. It's going. There's a lot going on. Okay, it keeps going. Wow, okay. I feel like I can work with this. I don't know, there is a lot going on. I love the face. The hair is cool. There's a lot going on at the bottom here. I can't really tell what's going on behind. Are they wings behind there? And there's a lot of colours. Okay, I feel like maybe I can work with this. The sword is cool. So the app actually does show you which clothing items are selected, which was really helpful for me to figure out exactly what was going on with the character and what they were wearing. So first things first, I went in and did a couple of sketches just to thumbnail how I wanted the character to be and just get a feel for how to draw the character in general. I really like just going in and sketching a couple of different things, just get a feel for the proportions of the character and how to draw each of the elements. I thought that this was really beneficial just to get a feel for the character, really, and just see how I wanted to draw them. Right from my very first sketch, I realised that the silhouette was going to be a little bit of a problem for me because there's just so much going on with the character. Like, she's wearing a lot of clothes, there's just a lot of different elements going on, so I knew that I wanted to try and force a kind of silhouette where there would be a bit more of a clear outline rather than it all being closed up, because that was something I was concerned about, that it might seem like just a lump of stuff in the middle of the page, and I really didn't want it to end up that way, so I really tried my best to work on the silhouette and just see if there was a pose I could put her in that would accentuate certain things and just give her a more clear outline. I hope that makes sense. I don't think I explained that very well, but so in my very first sketch she has her hand on her hip, and I feel like that kind of closes up her midsection far too much, so in my second sketch I tried to give her kind of a much more cinched waist and then make her skirt poofier, because just that contrast I thought would be good for the silhouette. But I went on and tried a couple of different more sketches after that and gave her some more action-y poses. I ended up liking my final sketch the best, where she's kind of stood facing more forward. She still has that one arm down on the sword, which I really liked. I tried to make her outline a bit more clear, so she still ended up with her hand on the hip in the end, but I just tried to make it very clear that there was like clear space behind her so that the outline would still be clear. Again, I don't think I explained that very well, but hopefully that makes sense. I liked my final sketch the best, so that's the one that I went ahead with. So I do kind of regret drawing this character on such a small sketchbook. I do kind of wish I'd gone bigger scale with it. I'd considered doing it bigger scale, and then I was concerned about doing too much and making it too big. I just find that I find it more comfortable to draw smaller sometimes. I've tried doing bigger illustrations on bigger pieces of paper and it never quite works out to plan. One of the biggest problems was that I genuinely completely forgot she had wings right up until I had finished the sketch pretty much, and then I was like, oh, she's supposed to have wings behind her. So the addition of that element in the background did change the silhouette a little bit, which I was a little bit disappointed about, but oh well, you know, it is what it is. Decided I wanted to do colourful line art for this one, something I've really been enjoying doing, and I was a little bit scared with this illustration to do it lineless. I've been attempting lineless styles a little bit recently, kind of off camera. I haven't posted any of that stuff, but it's something that I've been experimenting with because it's something I find really interesting. But for this one in particular, I was a little bit scared to just jump in and throw some colour right on top of the sketch, so I decided to line it. But I did do colourful outlines, which I always enjoy doing. And onto the colouring, I didn't really have a plan of what I was going to do. I just kind of picked out colours that I thought fit the image the most accurately that I could. I don't have the biggest range of colours in the world, so it was a little bit difficult to get certain colours right, but I think I managed to get a pretty good match for most of them. I will admit that the colouring ended up a lot darker than the original image because I didn't quite have the right colours, so I do think that the pink and the green especially were a little bit darker than the original version of the character, so I just pretty much went in and colour blocked the whole thing in the best colours I could find, and then the real magic happens when I go in with pencils and start to shade. I think that this is really when it starts to come to life. I absolutely love going on top of marker with coloured pencil and putting a bunch of shading in because I think it just makes it look so much more dynamic. I think this actually contributed to darkening up the image a little bit though, so I think if I were to do this again, I would try and lighten up the base a lot more if at all possible. It was quite fun working with the kind of red and green colour scheme too. This is a colour scheme that I hardly ever use. Red and green are contrasting colours and I love using contrasting colours, but I do tend to stick to, I mean, I use blue and orange a lot. I use purple and yellow sometimes as well. I tend to use green with yellow or with blue, and I don't tend to use red very often at all, so it was kind of fun to work with a green and red colour scheme. I found myself outlining some of the green areas with a red pencil near the end just to tie those sections together, and I think it looks really pretty. I might try and use red a little bit more often in my artwork. I was a little bit scared to do too much dynamic shading or going in with weird or contrasting colours for the shading because I think it just would have made it far too busy considering how many colours are already going on. I hope that makes sense. I don't know if I'm making much sense today, but overall I was pretty happy with the shading. I do think it darkened it up a little bit too much, especially on like the pink and green areas especially. I think it really brought it to life and made it a lot more dynamic once the shading was on there. And then after the shading I just go in with all my little details, which is another really fun part, just going over parts with some fine liners just to define the edges a bit better where maybe the colour has bled out just a little bit from the line art. I love trying to go over multiple different parts of the image with the same pencil because I think it just ties the colour scheme together, especially in an image like this where there's so much colour going on. I think that really helps just to make it feel a lot more cohesive, like it's one complete image. And outlining the eyes and doing the little details on the face were especially satisfying this image as well. I did add a little bit of a simple background to the back in blue because the background was blue on the original. Just added a block of blue in the background just so that there was something going on. I'm not super happy with the background overall. I think it looks a little bit strange just considering there's already so much going on. I wish I'd done it vertically actually. I think that would have been better. But yeah, this was a lot of fun overall. I had a lot of fun drawing this character. I'd love to maybe try and attempt to draw this character again in the future, possibly digitally, and try and make it a lot more dynamic. Maybe give her a more dynamic pose, more dynamic or complicated shading. Maybe not complicated, but just a little bit more adventurous, maybe. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider leaving a like or subscribing if you enjoyed. I would love to get to 100 subs before the end of the year. That would be really awesome. Anyway, thank you so much and I will see you in the next one. Take care.